and welcome to the tone breakdown for the song Humans for Toys by Superheaven. As you just heard, it has a nice distortion, grunge quality about it. That's kind of the characteristic of Superheaven's tone as a whole. It's very grungy, very gritty, but it still has clarity. But you notice when they ring out on the chords and stuff, especially in that song, they persist and actually they don't just die off immediately. So we're going to get into how we've constructed this preset. You can see it's a bit more involved than just an overdrive and an amp, but at its core, it's very basic. So let's get the pitch out of the way first. I'm using the transpose because I was in drop D tuning. This song is in C sharp, so I need to go down one semitone to get from drop D to C sharp. That's disabled in the preset when you download this, but if you're in a similar situation, you can tune down. The first real pedal in the chain here is the dual compressor. So the reason that we use a compressor is because this sound is very characteristic of compression. Now, I don't know if it's actually because the compressor pedal was used in the actual song, but generally when they do music like this to get it nice and huge and wall of sound, they'll do obviously multiple guitar takes and layer them to get that wall of sound, but then they'll compress it as well to kind of bring everything up and give you that noise. And that's, I guess, what this genre is associated with. I didn't actually touch the settings on this, I believe. I kept everything stock standard, as you can see. And this really just kind of helps bring everything up and make it loud and consistent, especially for those parts during the verses in this song where he's just ringing out those big chords and they just don't die. They just keep reverberating through while the bass plays and those screechy noises underneath. The second in the chain here is an overdrive pedal. Now, obviously, we use this to drive the amp a little bit harder and get it a little bit more gained as well. Slight EQ. Now, usually when I use the Tube Screamer, I don't use overdrive or tone, but you can see we're pushing the level to 10 to really dime the amp and kind of saturate it. Then we're pulling back the tone to 3.9. And the overdrive, we've got it at 11 o'clock here at 4. That just kind of colors it a little bit, but we didn't want to add too much overdrive to kind of make it a complete mess. So if you're doing this on another modeler, it's just a Tube Screamer or a Maxon, whatever. Same deal, basically. Now, the amp that I went for this is a JCM 800, which is the Brit 2203 on here. You can see I've added a bit of gain. Now, normally with this amp, I don't push the gain too high, but this song is very saturated, so I needed something to complement the distortion pedal, but I didn't want to push the gain to 10 because it gets really muddy, and then you have to start hacking it to clean it up. Essentially, I pulled the bass back a little bit because I didn't want to make it muddy. I pushed the mids up to make it a little bit more mid-focused, the treble as well to kind of make it a bit brighter, the presence just up slightly. I pushed the master up to 8. I could have gone a little bit higher in this, but once again, I didn't want to get it too messy and flubby and uncontrollable. So just push it to 7. That gives us a nice overall rounded sound. I've got the 412 Marshall cabinet with the GB7560A speaker cabinet here. It does a really good job. You can see I've got a high pass at 80 and a low pass at 8000 just to clean it up. With the position here, I am pushing it towards center a little bit more on the cone on the left speaker here with the 57. I also am using the 421 mic. I think the 160 was the default here. I just changed that because I needed that more grungy sound, and the 421 I found really got us there. Now, you may not actually hear it, but there's a chorus pedal in here. It's actually very subtle, but what this does is this also kind of widens the sound and gives us more of that grungy quality, but you can hear the chorus is not the main effect, but it is there. At least I think it is on the original song. Just a little bit, kind of messes it up a little bit, modulates the sound. The mix is quite just a little bit over halfway at 60, the rate down at 40, the depth left at 50, and that's basically it. You can see it's the C2C. And then lastly, I have a room reverb here, where basically I'm just using that to widen the sound. Once again, the chorus into the room reverb just widens the sound, and it's really good for those big chords as well. And that's essentially all I did in this preset. There's nothing too crazy going on here. There's just one scene because it's a heavy tone. Yeah, that's hopefully that helps you. That gives you that kind of grungy Superheaven tone that you may be looking for, and you can copy these settings onto your real equipment or other modelers, and hopefully that helps you. Thank you for watching.